Hello there and welcome to tonight's edition of Primetime News here on TV1. My name is David Paldano.
And I'm Zeenat Musafa. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo on New Year's Eve for the final edition of Primetime News for 2019.
Of course, we have more stories, a lot of stories in fact lined up for you for today. But before we dive into your stories, let's first take a look at your headlines.
Protesters storm US Embassy compound in Baghdad. Higher education granted for all students who pass their advanced level examination. State institutions which offer diplomas to be taken under the Ministry of Higher Education. Loud music inside private buses to be banned from tomorrow. Ministry to provide 1,000 songs approved to be played in buses. Rishad Badiuddin speaks about resettlement of the displaced in Mana.
රාජපක්ෂලාගේ ආණ්ඩුව තමයි අපි ආයි පරිදියට ගියේ. ඒ කාලේ රාජපක්ෂලා තමයි අපිට උදව් කරේ. ඒ ඔක්කොම සුද්ධ කරලා පරිදි කරාට පසුව මොකද්ද මට කිව්වේ විල්පත්ව විනාශ කරා කියලා.
What has happened to Sri Lanka police? Senior DIG SM Wickramasinghe explains.
Now taking a look at some of your local stories now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa stressed that the inefficiency of state institutions which made the people despise every single government should be put to an end to during his tenure. The President stated this during a meeting with several senior officials at the Ministry of Transport at the Presidential Secretariat this morning.
Secretary to the President P.B. Jayasundara, Secretary of Defence Kamal Gunaratne and several officials attached to various institutions operating under the purview of the Ministry of Transport were present at the meeting.
If any official at the Road and Development Authority or the Customs is taking a bribe, that is because that person believes that he or she should attempt to go up in life. Their salaries can be increased to prevent them from taking bribes, but to increase the salaries, we have to increase the state income. That to be done, we have to provide proper facilities to the sectors that are capable of increasing the state income. There we come back to the state official. It is the state official who provides the facilities to increase the state income. Therefore, all of this is depending on the honesty and the efficiency of the state official. This is something we have to think about. This is the bottom line. If that part is not being done properly, everything else will collapse. There is no need for the state official to launch any strike actions if he or she helps the government to increase the state income. Many people expect many things. I will look into these things during my tenure.
Minister of Higher Education Bandula Gunawardena spoke about the plans in place to give an opportunity to embark on higher education to all students who qualify for state universities.
We have made plans to absorb 180,000 students to universities by managing human and physical resources available in the university system more efficiently and productively. This is an increase of 25% when compared to previous years. We have sought cabinet approval to establish chartered universities. Under the leadership of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, we hope to establish approximately 300 universities within the next 5 years in a manner that each divisional secretariat will have one university. All educational institutions that operate under the purview of several ministries will come under the purview of the Ministry of Higher Education. We will transform such institutions into college universities. We hope to open a minimum of 100 within the next year.
ඩිප්ලෝමා ආයතන තියෙනවානේ මෙම පුද්ගලික ඩිප්ලෝමා ආයතන රජයට පවරා ගැනීමක් සිදු කරනවා
සමහර විශ්වවිද්‍යාල රජයට පවරා ගන්නවා
ඒක ලාභ ලබනවද නැත්නම් අධ්‍යාපනයට සුසුකම් නැතුව දැනට පවත්වාගෙන යන ආයතන කීපයක්
ආයතනයේ රාජ්‍ය සම්පත් භාවිතා කරලා තියෙන ආයතන රාජ්‍ය සම්පත් සොරා කාලා තියෙන ආයතන තියෙනවා නම් ඒව පවරා ගන්නවා මට ඒ පිළිබඳ නිශ්චිත වශයෙන් අහවල් එක කියලා කියන්නේ හොඳ නෑ මොකද පවරගෙන ඉවර වෙච්ච දවසටම මට ඒ ටික කියන්න පුළුවන් නියත වශයෙන් සමහර ආයතන පවරා ගන්න.
Convening a media briefing today, co-cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena stated that tax concessions provided by the new government will come into effect tomorrow.
Tax concessions on the economic service charge, debt tax on financial institutions including banks, the capital gains tax charged on the profits generated through stock market transactions, pay tax, withholding tax on interest, credit service tax, all taxes on religious places and taxes on remittances of foreign workers will be in effect from tomorrow. The Department of Government Information said income tax on the construction companies have been cut down from 28 to 14%, and taxes on earnings generated in the plantation industry will be exempted from tomorrow.
රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්
How can the salary of public sector employees be increased? Neither the budget nor the supplementary estimate has been presented. This is a caretaker government. Within 2 to 3 months, when the government is elected in April, the changes will take place once the budget is presented.
Loud music inside private buses that inconvenience the general public will be banned from tomorrow.
The Ministry of Passenger Transport Management said private bus drivers will only be allowed to play songs from their particular playlist in a manner which does not inconvenience passengers. The Ministry of Passenger Transport Management has taken steps to release a playlist containing 1,000 classical songs which are to be played on private buses. The ministry adds any complaints regarding private buses can be reported by dialing the hotline 1955. The event to distribute the playlists took place in Markubara today.
This is a huge issue as state income will not be sufficient. With the introduction of certain tax concessions, there was a drop in state revenue. However, on the other hand, this will increase foreign direct investment. Certain wealthy factions evaded tax payments, but now tax will be charged from them as well. Therefore, we should be able to manage this.
Total outstanding foreign debt of the government has increased by 60% during the past decade. Economists point out the government will have to obtain more debt to repay the existing foreign debt.
By the end of 2009, an average of $1 billion was paid out as foreign debt repayment annually. However, by 2019, this figure gradually increased to $4.7 billion. Meanwhile, the central bank said last week Sri Lanka is due to settle a foreign debt obligation of $4.8 billion in 2020. Deputy Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe pointed out the government will have to obtain more foreign debt, including commercial loans.
We at least need about $7 billion of reserves. So compared to that, if we want to maintain the current level of around $7.5 billion, we actually have to raise the full foreign currency debt and interest cost component in the fresh year 2020. So they definitely have to raise that amount of foreign currency. So you can raise more from SLDBs. So the maturing SLDBs can be rolled over and re-raised, or slightly higher amounts can be raised as well. Then definitely they will have to, for the balance, they will have to go for either bilateral loans or large sovereign bonds, where they will have to do more closer to the second half of the year. You don't raise this amount of debt, government will have to actually pay off the debt from the reserves, then the reserves will actually come down. So definitely they will have to go on and raise this amount of debt, and there will be a bit of pressure on interest rates as well.
The bond scam of the central bank in February 2015 has caused a severe effect to the debt burden of the country. As a result of an arbitrary increase in the interest rates offered at that time for the bonds that were purchased by the central bank and issued by the central bank at that time, the exchange rates, it had an impact on the exchange rates. The rupee value of the exchange rate, foreign exchange, fell down, decreased. As a result, in the country had to pay a larger amount in the repayment of debts that had already taken by the country at that time, and also the debts that were incurred thereafter in rupee terms. As a result, the repayment caused a heavy burden to the economy of the country, and it has become unbearable today directly as a result of the bond scam that took place in February 2015 during this, according to this bond scam.
Now, what happened to the money received from the Hambantota port deal? Well, during a media briefing today, State Minister Lakshmanya Pabewardena made the following remarks.
මේ හම්බන්තොට වරාය ගනුදෙනුවේ පහුගිය රජයේ ඒ ලබාගත් මුදලින් ඒ වරායට ලබාගත් ණය ගෙවලා තියෙනවද නැත්නම් ඒවා වෙනත් කටයුතු සඳහා භාවිත කළාද?
ගෙවලා නැහැ.
It hasn't been paid. It's been collected to a consolidated fund. From there, they showed a massive amount of foreign investments that came in. The cash inflow was the only recorded foreign investments in 2019. That's not related to loan repayments. We will have to repay the loan.
එතකොට දැන් ඒ සංචිතයේ මුදල් පහුගිය ණය වාර්ෂිකීමට පාවිච්චි කළා නැත්නම් සාමාන්‍ය
Usually, the money in the consolidated fund is used to repay loans. The central bank must do it. But the money in the reserve will decline. That's the problem. There are no solutions other than increasing export earnings and foreign investments.
දැන් ඒ ණය වාර්ෂිකය ගෙවන්නේ කවුද?
We are repaying from the government. There is no other way besides using the consolidated fund. What has happened there is a catastrophe. Now those companies also have to pay compensation. Those companies have demanded compensation. We need to have a discussion to resolve the situation. Either we help them through a supplementary budget, or we should pay their compensation fee and go for a new tender method. It's just like the Port City problem.
Port City එකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ වගේම තමයි.
Now, the ex-chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Dr. Rumi Mohammed, who surrendered to the CID, was remanded until the 6th of January.
The two suspects who are currently in remand custody under the charges relating to the controversial White Van media briefing were allegedly paid with 1 million rupees each by the former chairman Rumi Mohammed. Accordingly, the Attorney General ordered for the arrest of the former chairman and present him to court as a suspect of the case. While the case was taken up yesterday, Solicitor General Dileepa Piris informed court that Rumi Mohammed was not to be found. However, the suspect surrendered himself to the CID this morning. Following the recording of the statements at the CID, he was presented to the Colombo Additional Magistrate Saloni Pereira around 3:30 p.m. today. Deputy Solicitor General Dileepa Piris showed the court that Rumi Mohammed made this payment while holding office as a leading government official and requested the additional magistrate to not grant bail to the suspect due to the fact that an extensive investigation analyzing bank statements need to be conducted. The additional magistrate considered the facts presented and ordered the former chairman to be remanded until the 6th of January. Meanwhile, former Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne is further hospitalized and undergoing medical treatment. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, visited the parliamentarian and inquired into his health condition. UNP MPs and family were also seen visiting the parliamentarian at the private hospital in Narahempita today.
කොහොමද අපේ රාජිත ඇමතුමාගේ සෞඛ්‍ය තත්ත්වය?
තාම තිබ්බ අවදානම් තත්ත්ව තිබෙනවා. හැබැයි කියන විදිහට කටයුතු කිරීම තමයි කරන්නේ.
Shouldn't that be asked from the CID? We don't know about what's happening about that. If media thinks so, it might be correct. How it is being presented here is questionable. Because why didn't the police act on this before?
CID කටයුතු කරේ නැත්තේ. එනේ ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බ ප්‍රශ්නේ නම් ඒවා යටපත් වෙලා තිබ්බේ. හරි සුබ අලුත් අවුරුද්දක් වේවා.
දැන් මම ගෙන්න විදියක් වෙන්නේ නැති වෙයි. දවස් කිහිපයක් ඉන්න වෙයි. අලුත් අවුරුද්දේදී ඉස්පිරිතාල තමයි ඉන්න වෙන්නේ. හරි.
During a media briefing held today, MP Udayagama Pillai made the following statement regarding former Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne staying at a private hospital while being remanded.
From the moment Rajitha Senaratne was remanded, he is under the jurisdiction of the Commissioner General of Prisons. The Commissioner General of Prisons can only keep a prisoner outside of the prison under the circumstances that he is a patient and that patient can only be admitted to a government hospital. Thereby, the Minister of Justice should immediately question the Commissioner General of Prisons. If the minister does not do so, the Prime Minister, the President and the Cabinet of Ministers should take steps to question the Minister of Justice. If none of these happen, as backbench MPs, we will have to question the government in this regard during the next parliamentary session.
Parliamentarian Ashok Kabir Singh challenged the government today.
Are they reinvestigating the Tajuddin case? What about the bag of gems? What about the CSN case and the Sirili account? No one talks of these. Eknaligoda's case, Keith Noya's case and Lasantha Wickramatunga's case. No one speak of these. But there was a mistake from our end too. Our people also had made deals. I say that fearlessly. It was because of those deals that we could not accomplish what we wanted. The people of this country should know who the people behind these deals are. We will publicize the names of those people at the next election. I challenge this government to release the forensic audit report of the central bank bond scam. Then the misdealings and the corruption of the previous government will be revealed. We cannot proceed with the court case until Arjuna Mahendran is sent back to Sri Lanka from Singapore. Rajitha Senaratne is also trying to go to Singapore. Remember, if he goes to Singapore, what is in the Nalapana Jataka will come to life. He will not come back from Singapore. We have come to an understanding that this government has not done anything even close to the investigations carried out by the previous government on the bond scam. The only question we have is whether these matters have been politicized. There is room for a fair investigation to be carried out. Ranil Wickremesinghe can be arrested under those fair investigations. He has been accused of the bond scam as well. He can be arrested and interrogated. He is only an MP now.
I insisted on a public auction because private placements have led to corruption and lack of transparency.
Now taking a look at one of your headline-making stories, former Minister Rishad Batiuddin expressed the following views regarding the controversial resettlement in Mana during an event held in Mattakulya today.
This is not the Maithripala Sirisena and the Ranil Wickremesinghe government anymore. It was during the Rajapaksa government that the resettlements happened. It was the Rajapaksas that assisted us. After cleaning the area and resettling the people, what was I told? They pointed fingers at me saying I destroyed Wilpattu. I sent a letter to the president last week asking that if I did something wrong, a presidential commission should be appointed and that legal action should be taken against me. According to our religion, it is a sin to cut down even one tree. We are not the kind to even cut down one tree. The minister who took over my ministry, my successor, is now saying that I did something wrong and he is saying that he will throw me in jail. I challenge him to do so. I have held this ministerial portfolio for 15 years. Not once has anything happened under my tenure. I held the portfolio for 9 years under the Rajapaksa government. Ask them how much I have sacrificed for this country.
Now issuing a statement today, the Swiss Embassy in Sri Lanka says that the embassy hopes for a swift return to an environment conducive to resuming the positive cooperation between Switzerland and Sri Lanka.
In a statement to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the embassy said, quote, Switzerland and Sri Lanka have maintained excellent relations for decades and have engaged in substantial cooperation in a variety of fields to the benefit of both countries and their populations, unquote. It added that in the last few weeks, this relationship was marred by misunderstandings surrounding an incident involving a local staff member of the embassy, and that at no point during this time did Switzerland have the intention of tarnishing the image of the government of Sri Lanka. The statement further noted that the embassy is convinced that both sides will remain attentive to the working conditions and the well-being of all staff of diplomatic missions. The statement read, quote, Embassy of Switzerland in Colombo avails itself of this opportunity to renew to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka the assurances of its highest consideration, unquote.
Senior DIG in charge of the Central Province S.M. Wickremesinghe retired from his position today.
An event to bid farewell to the DIG was held at the police grounds in Kandy yesterday. Senior DIG S.M. Wickremesinghe was appointed to the position following the retirement of N.K. Ilangakun. Although S.M. Wickremesinghe's name was proposed to the Constitutional Council for the position of IGP, he did not receive it.
As a police officer, I have never bowed down to anyone and have always enforced the law equally and honestly. Due to the nature of my career, I was transferred to the Padavi area in Kabitigollava. When Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected as the president in 2005, many senior police officers were hesitant to take over the responsibility of protecting him. Although I did not have any experience of providing security to the VIPs, I took over the responsibility. We established a very strong security force within a short period. I provided leadership to nearly 2,500 police officers and 2,000 officers of the Tri-Forces. Although I joined the police with the objective of becoming the IGP one day, when I was given the opportunity by then President in 2011, I decided to give that opportunity to my senior and wait for the right time. Although I was not appointed as the IGP, I do not consider this as a failure or a defeat. Finally, I would like to say the unfortunate fate the police is facing today is mainly because many police officers who could have led the police department in the right manner were deprived of that opportunity. This is my personal opinion.
පොලිස් නිලධාරීන් පෙළකටම පොලිස් ප්‍රතිවීමේ අවස්ථාව අහිමි කිරීම නිසා තමයි මේ තත්ත්වය ඇති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියන එකයි මගේ පුද්ගලික මතය.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne retired from his position today. Chief of Defence Staff Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to officially hand over his resignation. He met with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning at Temple Trees, and the Prime Minister appreciated his service of 39 years and congratulated the Admiral. Meanwhile, Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne also gave his well wishes to the Admiral at the Defence Ministry today. The Tri-Forces Guard of Honour was presented to Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne at the BMICH in Colombo today. Commanders of the forces and the Acting Inspector General of Police took part in the event. CDS Admiral Vijay Gunaratne joined the Sri Lanka Navy on the 1st of November 1980 as an officer cadet of the 9th intake and completed his initial training at the Naval and Maritime Academy, Trincomalee. He then joined the prestigious Britannia Royal Naval College, Dartmouth, UK, after being named Best Executive Cadet of the batch. CDS Admiral Vijay Gunaratne served as the commander as the Sri Lanka Navy from the 11th of July 2015 to the 22nd of August 2017. Thereafter, he was appointed the CDS on the 22nd of August 2017 and has been serving in that position until today. Admiral Vijay Gunaratne was instrumental in forming the Sri Lanka Navy's Special Forces element known as the Special Boat Squadron as well as the Marine Squadron. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva has been appointed as the Acting Chief of Defence Staff by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now, this appointment is in addition to his duties as the Army Commander. The position was left vacant when Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne retired from his position today.
Now we're heading in for a short commercial break. Do join us on the other side as we bring you the very latest.
It was Mahatma Gandhi who said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." In a world where everything has become someone else's responsibility, in a world where everyone finds fault and does nothing to rectify it, your small actions will save the planet. Remember, there is no planet B. Join the second phase of the V4's Green Wave on the 11th of January. Register today by calling 0777 600 20.
Welcome back to the news. Now taking a look at some tragic news from here. 4 Air Force officers were killed in an accident that took place in the Varkapula this morning.
The accident took place at around 3:55 when they were travelling back to the Ratmalana Air Force camp in a three-wheeler after attending a funeral in Matale. The vehicle was hit by a container which came from the opposite direction. Ruan Disanayaka, who was among the victims, is a 38-year-old father of 2. His younger son is only 4 months old. R.B. Saman Kumara, who had served in the Air Force for 20 years, was also among the victims. He was a 37-year-old father of 3 from Ampara. Saman Kumara, who was a 31-year-old father of 2, resided in Ranpatvilla. Meanwhile, the driver was arrested and was granted bail this evening by the Varkapula magistrate.
Minister Susil Premajayantha was questioned about public sector digitalisation at a media briefing in Colombo today.
To say one more thing, like now it's suppose that your medical history will be added to your national identity card. So since if this identity card connect to these data pages, so those who, since we don't have data protection method for the rules, someone can sneak into that data and manipulate your document.
Yeah. There are so many. There are experts in the country. There are university academics, the professionals. They will be summoned and discuss, and then we'll study how countries like Estonia, the Sweden, and the Germany, they have transformed this, but it took some time, not overnight. So this is only a proposal. So then, as we mentioned in our election manifesto, so one particular day we have to transform entire public service into digitalized.
Now taking a look at some international news, thousands of people in Australia have fled to the seafront to seek shelter from bushfires racing to the coast. Australia military aircraft and vessels will be deployed to help emergency services in the fire-ravaged state of New South Wales and Victoria.
One blaze moved into the Victorian coastal town of Malakuta, throwing embers towards homes. Locals described a terrifying experience of camping on wharves and boarding boats under blood-red skies. Meanwhile, officials confirmed another 2 people had died in blazes in New South Wales. There are now 12 deaths linked to the nation's bushfire crisis. Authorities said there are 5 more people missing in the region, 4 in Victoria and another man in New South Wales. Victoria's State Premier Daniel Andrews said Navy ships may be called upon to provide food, water and power to the cut-off townships. The main road in the region, the Princes Highway, has also been closed off.
We are now joined by Vaishnavan Sridharan from New South Wales, Australia, reporting for News First.
Many states in Australia have been hit by a devastating bushfire crisis. New South Wales in particular has been one of the most hit states, with countless number of homes being lost in rural New South Wales due to the bushfires. Today the Sydney city recorded up to 34 degrees while the west of Sydney recorded to 43 degrees. Due to the extreme wind and the extreme temperature conditions, a total fire ban has been employed in New South Wales. The Sydney Harbour fireworks have been agreed to move forward amongst much controversy due to the fire ban. The Rural Fire Service of New South Wales gave permission to Sydney City Council to go ahead with the fireworks, although the fire ban has been deployed.
I'll start. We're just hours away from welcoming the new year and the new decade 2020.
New Zealand, followed by Australia, were first to celebrate the new year in a spectacular fashion across the country. We leave you tonight with this footage and wishing you a happy and prosperous new year in advance. For the News First team, I'm Devi Paldano.
And I'm Zeenat Musafa. Good night and take care.